Hello, everyone. Brie Sodano here, coming to you live today. And today, what we are going to be talking about is big cash influxes, windfalls, bonuses, settlements, tax refunds, inheritances. This can be something that is difficult to navigate financially. So that's what we're going to get into today. So, if this is your first time getting to meet me, my name is Brie Sodano. I'm a personal finance expert and the founder of From Sheep to Shark. I invented the invisible system to stop bleeding money and start stacking cash. And um, a lot of the work that I do with clients is really learning how to manage themselves in their relationship with money so that way they can use their money confidently. And so I'm super excited that tomorrow in the Cash Confident community, we're going to be doing a really in depth training on big cash influxes. Now, one of the things that sometimes is like a little bit baffling for people is like, why is a cash influx like hard, right? Like, it seems like a super good thing. Like, all this money comes in, you get a big fat tax refund, or, uh, you get an insurance settlement, or you get like a bonus at work or something like that. And somehow that can end up being something a little bit hard to navigate financially. So, in this quick talk, I'm going to talk about kind of why that happens, talk about some of the things to do. And I'm doing a very in depth presentation tomorrow in Cash Confident, where we're going to really get into some very specific activities to do and some very like some practices around it. So we have a financial comfort zone. That is something that we financial comfort zone too is it's divvied up into different areas. Like you have a debt comfort zone, a savings comfort zone, a earnings comfort zone, expenses comfort zone, the relationship between earnings and expenses. And so when a big cash lump sum gets dropped into your bank account, that will sometimes put you outside of that comfort zone. So the number one thought that people have if they're in the place of having trouble with a big cash influx is like the thought of like, I need to do something good with this money before I do something stupid with this money. Like, I need to use all of this money on something good like real fast because I don't trust myself, and I'm gonna spend it all real fast. So if that is a place that you've ever been, please let me know. I'd love to hear that in the comments if you're like, yeah, that's something that's happened to me. And so the way that this kind of happens in our mind is we have a comfort zone and we see what's possible for us inside this comfort zone. So we know that we have a certain amount of money that comes in every month, and we know that we have a certain amount of savings. And so our desires and our goals are going to be pretty much within that comfort zone, right? So if you're making 50,000 a year, you're probably not consciously and actively frequently desiring things well beyond that, because unless you're actively working to grow and expand your wealth, and that's something. But a lot of times what ends up happening is you're used to your comfort zone being here and having this amount of money and thinking this kind of thoughts, and then all of a sudden you get a big cash influx, and the guardrails go off of your mind. So now you're like, all right, well, so let's just say I'm getting um a refund, or it doesn't matter, any kind of influx of, let's say, $20,000. And then I start looking at it and I'm like, all right, well, what could I do with $20,000? Right. And so if I have a little bit of time pressure, like, I better do something good with this money so I don't just accidentally spend it. I'm like, all right, well, do I have any debt that I could pay off? Do I want to use it to do that? Do I want to upgrade anything? Do I want to do this? And all of the possibilities of what could be done with those, with that money, kind of comes like flooding into your brain. And you're like, all right, well, I could do this. I could do this. I could do this. And you're like, well, could I do this and this? Well, then you're like, but then I won't have enough money. Like, I could upgrade my kitchen, or I could pay off my debt, but I don't have the money for both. Like, I could get a new car, but if I get a new car, then I'm gonna have to take out a car payment, and then I'm going to use the money on the down payment, and then I'm going to end up with a loan, and then that seems like, well, then I ended up further in debt because I got this money, and that doesn't exactly make sense. Do I want to do that? And so this is like a very real problem. Let me know in the comments if this has ever been you, if you've ever gotten an influx and then you feel like you blow it. And so the thing that kind of inspires us to get the money is, if you don't feel worthy of the money, or you don't feel safe with the money, your subconscious, your nervous system is going to be like, hey, yo, get rid of this money. In some ways, I've seen clients self-sabotage in this area is emergencies. I will put that in air quotes, emergencies. I'll tell you, I had a client who got a $14,000 tax refund once. And to her, at this point in her life, that was a ton of money. Her savings account was used to being between $2,000 and $4,000. So she got this big tax refund, and what ended up happening, this is how I knew about financial comfort zones. This is the story where I learned this, because there's no books. I everything that I teach, everything that you learn from me, I've learned from talking to thousands of people over the last almost decade now, over the last 9 years, and seeing what they do, because the work that I do really combines like practical wealth building strategies that you would read in books and stuff, and understanding humans and the way that they behave and why they do and they don't do the wealth building strategies, because most people want to be wealthier, and we don't do it. And so learning to understand what's going on with people and inside them and how that shows up in their money situation is the work that I do. That is the work that I do. So you'll find my work is very holistic. We look at mindset, we look at emotions, we look at habits, behaviors, actions, and then we look at the strategies. And there's not books. So everything I've learned from experience working with clients over the years. And so, anyways, so this client comes and she gets sick for 3 meetings in a row with me. Well, one time she gets sick. One meeting she forgot. One meeting she got stuck in traffic, but she had something else to do, so she had to turn around on the highway midway. And all of those things look like there, and it's not really an issue of fault, but it's an issue of self-sabotage. So she has all this money and she's working with a financial advisor to help her do something productive and good with the money, and then she misses 3 meetings. So by the time she gets into my office to actually see me, the money's gone. I'm like, what did you do? And she every single one of her pets had to go for a vet visit. Every single one of her pets had an emergency. Her kids had emergencies. She basically gave away all the money in different ways, shapes, and forms. She had an emergency window to replace, even though that window had been the window for the last 12 years or whatever. And it's not that anything that she did was wrong or bad with the money, but it was, she got rid of that money as fast as she could because that money was freaking her out. That money didn't fit her level of self-worth. It didn't meet her, there was a disconnect, and her nervous system and her brain were like, I feel very uncomfortable with all this cash in here. Let's get rid of it. And so that's what happened. And so over the years, I have come up with some things to help us increase our sense of worth. Because if we don't feel worthy and then our money doesn't match our sense of worthiness, oh, we will overgive it. We will have emergencies. The money will always match the money will mirror where you kind of are in your sense of self-worth. And so tomorrow in Cash Confident, I'm going to be doing an exercise to really dig into that and show you basically how to start to build your own sense of self-worth. It's not build it. It's not like you're building something that isn't there, but you're going to start to learn to see it. You're going to start to learn to feel like you deserve the money that you have, because when you feel like you don't deserve it, the money will disappear. The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to learn to really stretch that financial comfort zone. So that's going to be one of the things that I teach tomorrow. So there's a financial comfort zone, and so in tomorrow's presentation, we're going to I'm going to show you how to know where your financial comfort zone is, so that way when you're outside of your financial comfort zone, you can be aware and stretch that comfort zone instead of getting your money to match your comfort zone again. And so we're going to look at our comfort zone and stretch it to match the money, instead of letting, instead of getting rid of the money and then have that comfort zone contract back in. So I'm going to teach you how to do that too. I'm going to teach you some other techniques on how to take off the time pressure. A lot of the times that people make really interesting decisions with their money, it's really coming from a place of, I need to do something with this. I need to do something good with this money before I blow it. I need to do something with this money today. I need to be making decisions. A lot of times people are spending the money before it's even there. So I'm going to teach you how to look at the time pressure that's around that, which is really just you being outside of your comfort zone, and how to kind of calm down and be okay to be able to make neutral, like, I don't know, just neutral, solid, good decisions that make sense, like for what it is that you're actually working towards. There's one other thing that I'm going to teach. Let me just look at my notes real quick. Well, actually, all right. Let's see. Just looking at my notes. Let me just see. Just looking at my notes real quick. Um, yeah. So if you've ever had any, I don't know, just like any cash flow junk, just let me know in the comments. What is the fourth thing I'm going to teach? How to feel. Oh, the priorities. Oh, good. I'm happy I looked at the notes. So the other thing around blowing cash influxes is when we're not super clear around what our financial priorities are. And your priorities are going to be based on your values, like what it is you actually value. So I have another thing that I'm going to teach to show you where your financial values are. So that way you can prioritize your use of money in a way that feels good. It feels congruent. If you look at your values and then you put your money in the places where it meets your highest values, you're going to feel really congruent with yourself. You're going to feel really good. If you don't do that, if you have values that are like, if your top values are not met with your money and you fund lower values, you're going to feel regret. You're going to feel incongruent with yourself. So I'm going to teach you both how to find those values so that way you know kind of what's going to feel good when you spend, and also like if your values are, like if wealth building isn't a value, if money is not a value, I'm going to show you a way to be able to change those values. Because I'll tell you, one of the things that is required to build wealth is actually valuing wealth building. And so valuing your future self, valuing yourself now, and learning. And then there's like discipline that comes with it, like saving consistently, and all of the things, all of the things that you could read in any financial strategy book are all based on the fact that you would have wealth building as a value, as a primary value. And if you don't have that, you're not going to ever take the actions to do the things. So I'm going to show you how to find your values, and I'm going to show you how to change your values in case you see where your values are and you're like, actually, I'm ready to change those. Because every now and then, it's important to change your values. Like I'll just tell you, recently I realized that I value freedom is one of my number one top priority, number one values. It's something I value incredibly highly. And I'm to the place where my next level of freedom is going to come via discipline and responsibility. And so I had to kind of look at those values and be like, all right, for me to be able to stay on track for financial freedom, I actually need to up my discipline. And it's not just financial freedom, it's all freedom. So it's like my discipline at the gym, because I want the freedom to have a good, strong body, right? Like I don't want to be somebody who's old and like stuck in a chair. I want to be somebody who's old and still kayaking. And that's a freedom that I really want. And I'm like, that is actually going to be the result of a consistency and a discipline in my workout and in my, just the way that I take care of myself. And so for my next level of freedom, at this stage of my game, it's going to basically be discipline. And so discipline is not something I've ever really valued before. So I had to do a little bit of work on with myself to be able to really see the benefits of discipline and really get on board with myself, is to be like, no, let's do the thing. Let's do it every day. Let's do the thing every day, and kind of go from there. So that's, I don't know. So those are the things. So the stuff that I'm going to be teaching is going to be so good tomorrow in Cash Confident. And so if you don't know what Cash Confident is, I'll tell you there's three ways that I work with clients. So one way is I do online courses, and those are available all the time. You can go to sharkschool.online and see what I have to offer in courses. The second thing that I offer is a community called Cash Confident. And Cash Confident is a community for women who are going from surviving in their financial lives to thriving. And so that's the trek, that's the journey that we make. So there's 7 different levels of wealth. And I'm not going to get into it right now, but if you watch a lot of my other videos, we talk in depth about that. So people kind of come in the level of feeling stretched too thin, where there's a lot of scarcity, being busy, broken, exhausted. We take them up through learning how to manage their cash flow, how to maximize their earnings, and then really get to the place where they're accumulating money and really doing wealth building, really getting to the place of wealth building. And that level is a lot of internal work. And so cash confident, the stuff that I teach on and the way that I work with clients, there's financial strategy, there is money mindset, there's habits. We do a lot of habit and action work and how to see how your behaviors are actually showing you things. A lot of emotional intelligence, and then we have a beautiful community of ladies who like love on and support on each other. So every in cash confident, in the cash confident community, every month there's new workshops that come out. And so this month, as we approach tax season and there's generally a lot of big influxes, the workshop that we're doing tomorrow, which is phenomenal, it's incredibly good, very deep, profound work that has helped. I'll tell you some stories in a second. Helped clients. I've been doing this for a long time, so it helped clients to not blow their stuff, like blow their cash influx. Um, that's the workshop that we're doing tomorrow. I'll tell you. So I had a client who inherited $80,000, and on our first call, she's on the edge of buying a $48,000 car, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like this doesn't make sense. It wouldn't have made sense without that cash. But she also wanted to be a real estate investor. She wanted to do these other things, and the money was freaking her out so bad that she was like, I just basically like basically what she was saying is, I just need to get rid of this money, like the stress of having this money, because it was way outside of her comfort zone. She never had that kind of money, and now she's got 80 grand in her bank account. And so we worked through some of the stuff that I'm going to be teaching tomorrow. She did not buy a $48,000 car. We did not let that happen. What she did need a new car. It was important to her. It was very important, but she ended up with a car that was like, I think somewhere between 12 and $16,000, but it was perfect for her. It was used. It was exactly what she needed. She loves it. She paid off a little bit of debt, and then within 18 months, she was able to buy her first investment property. And though that was the thing that money allowed her to do. If she had spent it all on a car, that would have not been okay. And I'll tell you that this work is the thing that stopped that from happening. Is getting in, looking at those things, and really kind of working with her to get her down off the ledge of having the stress of the money. You know, go look at buying a $48,000 car when that wasn't anything that was a priority for her. It really wasn't. It wasn't. It wouldn't have been a great choice for her to do that. So that's the kind of stuff that we're doing. So a lot of my clients in Cash Confident, they're coming to see us, managing their money, just getting by, feeling paycheck to paycheck, feeling like they should have more financial progress. And we work on the mindset of wealth building. We work on the habits, the actions, the strategies of wealth building. We work on the emotional intelligence of wealth building. And that's what we do. And so if that's something that you want to do, or you want to be in the class tomorrow, I'm telling you, the class tomorrow is going to be worth the fee for the entire month. Right? Cash Confident is $99 a month, or you can buy it in full at $897 for the full year. The thing that you're going to get tomorrow is going to, if you have a cash influx and you've ever blown it before, you're going to want to be in this masterclass, because it's a skill that once you have, you're going to learn forever. And every single cash influx you ever get from between now and the forever, you're going to know what to do with. You're going to know how to manage yourself. You're not going to blow it. Like there's a lot of opportunities for cash influxes. Like we get a lot of us get tax refund every year. We get bonuses at work. We get a profit, a profit share, or we take a distribution if we own businesses, or, sometimes, yeah, we get a bonus, or our spouse gets a bonus, or we get an inheritance, or we get a lawsuit settlement, or we get a lot of money for our wedding. Or we sell a piece of property and there's a big cash influx. And knowing how to manage yourself when you have a big influx of cash is one of those critical wealth building skills. So that way you don't blow it. And then I'll tell you, if you do blow it, a lot of times there's a lot of guilt and feelings of regret and remorse that are better avoided if possible. And if we have time tomorrow, maybe I'll throw that in, how to get over the remorse of past. Maybe I'll put that in there. All right. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you. I hope I will see you in Cash Confident tomorrow. I will tell you that the entire Cash Confident community is such a tremendous value. Like, I'm so proud of what we're able to offer, especially at the price that we're able to offer it. Like, for me to be able to have a healthy, sustainable business at such a low price point, I think is like, I'm just super excited, super proud about it. All right. I love you. Bye.